And now it's time for a message from one of our sponsors, the Rockefeller Foundation.
What does equity mean? What does equity mean to me? Glenn Harris, the author of Color Lines, I like how he puts it. He says, equity is applying justice and a little bit of common sense to systems that are out of balance. And for me, ultimately, that's what equity is. It is balance. I will never forget, I was in high school, and it was a time in which equity really became clear to me. I got accepted into a program called the Governor's School. Went there, there were kids from around the state. And it was the first time that I saw kids from various public school systems had so much more access to opportunity than I did in my public school. It was the first time when I really got to truly understand inequity and why it was so important to advance and to advocate for equity. Equity in its application to educational attainment, to jobs, to health. It's funny, when you look to your left and to your right and everything is out of balance, you don't necessarily recognize the imbalance until you have an opportunity to step into a place where there is balance. And it calls out the discrepancy. It calls out the disparity. I saw that in my junior year in high school, and I've been fighting to try to achieve equity ever since.
Equity is opportunity. It's the ability for Americans to achieve some measure of stability and then go on to achieve mobility through social classes, through economic classes.
What equity means to me is fairness, and not fairness at the starting gate, but actually fairness in outcomes. Because until we get outcomes that are equal, we don't really have equity.
It's about accomplishing equitable conditions so that any child, no matter where they're born, whatever zip code, whatever race or economic status they may experience coming into the world, does not hinder their ability to prosper, have a good life.
What does equity mean to me? The ability to expect and receive just a little bit of grace and be able to live through mistakes, overcome obstacles, and express yourself in all the ways that your potential really allows. That is what I consider equity.
Equity has meaning across multiple domains. There's political equity, there's psychological equity, social equity. Equity is about power and agency, and equity is about outcomes.
Equity is about justice. Equity seeks to remedy the harms that have systemically prevented so many communities of people and families from real opportunity and real success. Equity, at the root of it, is a real commitment to the least of these and a fundamental understanding that service to the least of these helps us all.
Equity isn't charity. Equity is advancement. And understanding when you invest in women, the entire community, our country prospers.
Equity to me means acknowledging the dignity of every single person so that all of us, no matter how much money we have, what we look like, or where we were born, have the freedom to thrive.
Equity means that a person's race, a person's zip code, no longer determines who has access to healthy and nourishing food, who gets to grow our food, and who gets to participate and prosper on our farms and in our food businesses.
It's about being able to safely be authentic. So equity is showing up and being able to be your whole self, to be a mom, to be an aunt, to be a Mexican-American woman, to love who you love, and to be able to do that safely.
Equity means to me making sure that I do whatever I can to address a broken system that preferences white people like me over black and brown people. And I've seen this play out my entire life.
To me, equity means that you matter just as much as anybody else.
I often say talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. For me, equity is an end state where everyone is given equal opportunity and resources to not just survive, but to dream, create, and thrive.
We can make changes in small to large ways to advance equity, but the core is acknowledging every human being with respect.
Equity is balance, justice, well-being, the ability to not just survive, but to thrive. Equity is opportunity. That's what equity means to me, but I'd love to hear from you. What does equity mean to you? Share your thoughts, comments, artwork, videos, and please tag it with #EquityIsOpportunity.